Part 1. Awareness is power. See the pattern. To break the pattern. You cannot change what you cannot see. That is where it begins. Right now, your life is shaped by patterns. Repeating thoughts, silent beliefs, familiar reactions. Most of them are invisible. You do not choose them. You inherited them. You practice them. You obey them without even knowing their names. And still, they decide how far you go. Every day you wake up and you think you are making decisions. But what if those decisions were already made long before your conscious mind caught up? What if you were just following scripts written in the background of your life? The mind has two faces. The conscious mind is the voice in your head, the one you recognize, the one you think is in charge. But it is not. It only accounts for 5% of your mental activity. That means 95% of the choices, the reactions, the thoughts that shape your day are coming from somewhere else, from the shadows. That is your subconscious, and it is the true puppeteer. It stores your habits, your fears, your wounds, your identity. It decides how you see yourself, how you treat others, what you think you deserve. And unless you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life, and you will call it fate. So let me ask you, are you really living, or are you just replaying? The first shift begins with awareness, not motivation, not inspiration. Awareness. The ability to notice what you usually ignore. That sigh when you walk into the office. That tension in your chest when you see your reflection. That automatic thought when someone compliments you and you instantly doubt it. That is your subconscious speaking. And the problem is not that you have limiting beliefs. The problem is that you do not even realize they are there. Real change is not about forcing new habits. It is about exposing the old programs running the show. You cannot build a new path on top of a broken foundation. You must uncover it, study it, see the pattern. That is how you break it. This is not easy work. Most people do not want to slow down. They stay busy so they never have to face the truth. But the truth is patient. It waits in the silence. That is where transformation begins. Sit with your thoughts. Watch them. Do not run. Do not label them. Just notice. You might hear the voice of your childhood. A teacher who made you feel small. A parent who never saw your worth. A failure that left a scar. That voice became your belief, and that belief became your blueprint. Now here you are, still building your life on blueprints you never questioned, still reacting the same way, still shrinking, still pleasing, still doubting. But awareness burns through illusion. It opens a door, and once you walk through it, you are never the same. Ask yourself simple questions. Why do I believe I am not enough? Who told me that? Why do I avoid taking risks? What am I afraid of losing? Why do I repeat this behavior even when it hurts me? These are not questions for the surface. These are questions that dig. And if you dig long enough, you will hit something raw, something honest, something real. That is the root. That is what we are after. Because if you do not pull something out by the root, it always grows back. Awareness is not passive. It is disruptive. It makes you uncomfortable. It makes you question everything. It makes you realize that most of your limits were never real. They were rehearsed, conditioned. And once you see them for what they are, they begin to lose power. So stop waiting for a breakthrough to fall from the sky. The breakthrough is already inside you. It is buried under layers of noise, distraction, and denial. But it is there. Slow down. Be still. Listen. Watch your own mind like a hawk. And then, once you see clearly, once you feel the pattern rise to the surface, break it. Say no when your past tells you to say yes. Step forward when your fear tells you to hide. Speak when your shame tells you to be silent. That is awareness in action. That is how you reclaim your life. Because you are not your thoughts. You are the one watching them. And the moment you realize that, you stop being a puppet. You become the puppeteer. You have been told a lie, a subtle one, a quiet one. The lie is this: that every thought you think is true, that your mind is the voice of reason, that if you feel it or hear it or think it, then it must be you. But the truth is far more liberating. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer, and that changes everything. Because thoughts are not facts. They are echoes. Sometimes they are echoes of fear. Sometimes they are echoes of your parents, your past, your pain. And some of those thoughts have been playing on repeat for years. I am not good enough. I will fail. People always leave. It is too late for me. These thoughts are not original. They are inherited, programmed, wired into your brain like shortcuts on a keyboard. And your brain, to save energy, keeps pressing the same shortcuts again and again. But shortcuts become cages. So here is your second shift. Challenge the thought every single time. This is the foundation of what psychologists call cognitive restructuring. You identify the thought, you challenge its truth, and then you replace it. Not once, but over and over until the new thought becomes the default. Let me give you an example. You hear your mind say, "I always mess things up." Stop. Step out of the thought. Observe it. Ask yourself, is that true? Always. What is the evidence? Bring in the facts. You kept your word when it mattered. You showed up for someone you love. You accomplished something small that once felt impossible. Now, replace it. I am capable of growth. I have succeeded before. I am learning and getting stronger. This is not delusion. This is correction. You are not lying to yourself. You are finally telling yourself the whole story. And at first, it will feel fake. That is normal. You are rewiring old circuits. New pathways feel unfamiliar, but with repetition, they grow stronger. Neuroscience proves it. Neurons that fire together, wire together. Every time you think something, your brain strengthens that connection. So stop feeding the thought that hurts you. Starve it, and feed the one that frees you. You cannot always control your first thought. It is automatic. But you can always choose your second thought. And if you replace your first thought with a stronger second thought enough times, guess what happens? That second thought becomes the new first. You are not stuck. You are patterned. And patterns can be broken. This is not theory. This is science. This is mental fitness. This is you taking back control. But here is the key. You must be intentional. You must watch your mind like a guardian at the gate. Because your brain will try to take the easy route, the old route, the one lined with familiar pain. Do not let it. Speak your truth, even if your voice trembles. Write your worth, even if your hand shakes. Stand in the fire of discomfort, because that is where transformation begins. You are not broken. You are becoming. And every time you challenge a lie in your head, you come home to the truth. You are strong. You are not your past. You are not your fear. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who gets to choose. And that is your greatest power. There is a machine running your life. It does not ask for your permission. It does not wait for your input. It simply follows the instructions it was given long ago. That machine is your subconscious mind. And it is not your enemy. It is not broken. It is doing exactly what it was designed to do: keep you alive, keep you efficient, keep you predictable. But what kept you safe in the past might be keeping you stuck today. Here is what most people never realize. Your subconscious is not intelligent in the way you think it is. It does not question orders. It does not sort right from wrong. It does not care whether a belief is true or destructive. If you feed it the same thought again and again, it obeys, and it becomes your reality. Repetition is the language of the subconscious. The habits you repeat, the emotions you reinforce, the thoughts you allow without challenge. These are the instructions you give the engine beneath your awareness. And once they are installed, they become your autopilot. That is why you can drive home without remembering the turns. Why you react to certain people with tension, even when you do not know why. Why the same fear shows up in different costumes throughout your life. It is not coincidence. It is coding. So the third shift is this. If you want to rise, you must rewire. Not once, not for a week, but through consistent repetition, day by day, moment by moment, until your new thoughts become the new normal. Think of your brain like a field. Every time you walk the same path, it becomes easier to walk again. The grass flattens, the soil hardens, it becomes a trail. That is your neural pathway. If the only path you have walked is fear, then fear becomes the fastest route. If the only path you have walked is self-doubt, then doubt becomes your default. But the brain can change. The field can grow new trails. Science calls this neuroplasticity, the ability of your brain to form new connections and reorganize itself. Not just in childhood, at any age, at any stage. You are not fixed. You are adaptable. But the brain will not build a new path unless you walk it first. And not just once. You must walk it over and over, even when it feels strange, even when the old path calls your name, even when your body wants to return to comfort. Because the more you repeat, the more you reinforce, and the stronger the signal becomes. That is why awareness is not enough. Knowing the pattern is step one. Challenging it is step two. But repeating the new pattern until it sticks, that is where transformation happens. It is not about perfection. It is about persistence. You fall into judgment. Fine. Catch yourself. Reframe. Repeat. You feel fear rise. Fine. Breathe through it. Act anyway. Repeat. You doubt your worth. Fine. Speak the truth to yourself. Again and again. You are teaching your subconscious a new language, a new rhythm, a new belief system. And the only way it learns is through volume. Do not worry if it feels fake at first. That is not failure. That is proof you are walking a new path. And if you walk it long enough, it becomes familiar. It becomes automatic. It becomes you. So plant the seed, water it with action, and trust the process. Because your subconscious is not set in stone. It is soil. And you are the gardener. Close your eyes. Not in fear. In intention. Imagine the life you want. Not someday. Now. In detail. In color. In feeling. You are not escaping. You are rehearsing. This is the fourth shift. Understanding that visualization is not fantasy. It is focus. It is the act of building a blueprint before the structure exists. Every building begins with a design. Every performance begins with rehearsal. Every life transformation begins in the mind. The mistake people make is thinking that visualizing success is naive, that it is wishful thinking. But science says otherwise. Studies have shown that athletes who visualize their routines improve performance as much as those who physically train. The brain does not fully distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. That is how powerful the mind is. What you see repeatedly in your mind becomes familiar to your brain. And what is familiar feels safe. And what feels safe becomes possible. That is how the impossible becomes achievable by first becoming believable. If you never see yourself succeeding, your brain will not pursue success. It will protect you from it. But if you see yourself rising again and again, your brain begins to trust the path. So do not just think about your goals. Feel them. Feel the pride of finishing. Feel the peace of becoming. Feel the joy of arriving. Imagine the sounds, the smells, the light, the conversations. Make it so vivid that your subconscious believes it is already happening. That is how you train your mind to support your dreams, not sabotage them. But there is a rule. Visualization is not once a week. It is not when you feel inspired. It is daily, relentless, consistent, when you wake up, before the world grabs your attention, when your mind is soft and open. That is when you rehearse. When you are about to give up, that is when you close your eyes and see the finish line. When fear screams louder than logic, that is when you see yourself walking through the storm. When doubt whispers that you are not enough, that is when you see yourself rising anyway. You are not lying to yourself. You are leading yourself. You are telling your mind where to go before the world tells it where to stop. Visualization is not just about motivation. It builds belief, and belief builds behavior, and behavior builds reality. So the question is simple. What are you rehearsing in your mind? Disaster or breakthrough? Fear or courage? Survival or significance? You get to choose. You always have. And if you do not choose, the world will choose for you. So today, take the wheel. Close your eyes. See it. Feel it. Walk through it in your mind. Because when the day comes, and it will come, your mind will already be there. And your body will simply follow. You become what you repeat. And what you repeat the most are the words you speak to yourself. Your voice is the most trusted voice your mind will ever hear. So if you want to change your life, start by changing the way you speak when no one else is listening. This is the fifth shift. Speak what you seek. Affirm until you become. You are already affirming something every day, whether you know it or not. Every time you say, I can't do this. I'm not enough. This always happens to me. Your mind listens, and it believes you. Affirmations are not magic. They are not wishful mantras. They are commands to your subconscious. They are the blueprint you give your brain to build your future. The subconscious does not argue. It receives. It obeys. It follows the direction of repetition. So why not take control of the programming? Why not use the power you already have and aim it at the life you want? Start simple. Start daily. Start deliberately. Before your feet touch the ground in the morning, speak 3 truths. I am capable. I am grounded. I am in control of what I focus on. It does not matter if you believe it yet. Belief follows behavior, and behavior begins with language. Words are not decorations. They are directions. And your life will follow the path of your loudest internal dialogue. Think of it like this. Your subconscious is like soil. It does not choose what gets planted. It simply grows what you give it. So when you speak into it, you plant seeds. Seeds of strength. Seeds of calm. Seeds of possibility. Over time, they grow. And one day, they become your identity. The key is consistency. Affirmations work through repetition. That means daily practice, morning and night. Even on the days you do not feel like it, especially on the days you do not feel like it. And when the negative thoughts return, because they will, you respond. You meet them with your truth, not just once, but every single time. Your mind says, I always fail. You say, I learn from every challenge, and I grow stronger. Your mind says, I do not deserve this. You say, I am worthy of love, success, and peace. Your mind says, nothing ever works for me. You say, I create my path with purpose and discipline. This is not lying to yourself. This is rewriting yourself. This is reclaiming the pen and writing your own script. You are not helpless. You are programmable. And you are the programmer. Every time you affirm, you take the wheel back from your past. You silence the noise of old fears. And you replace it with a new rhythm. one that is aligned with your vision. So say it, out loud, in your mind, in the mirror, in the moments when it feels most ridiculous. That is when it is working. That is when the rewiring happens. Because you are not brainwashing yourself into delusion. You are cleaning the window to finally see who you are meant to be. Affirm it, own it, repeat it until you forget the lie you used to believe. Repeat it until your words become instinct, until the voice inside you becomes your greatest ally. And one day, when the storm comes, when the old patterns try to return, you will stand tall. Not because the world is easier, but because your mind is stronger. Look back now, not with regret, with reverence. You stood at the edge of yourself. You looked into the patterns, the noise, the pain, and you did not flinch. You saw the autopilot. You saw the old code. You saw the thoughts that pretended to be truth. And you said, enough, because something inside you whispered, there is more to me than this. And that whisper, that was not doubt. That was your truth trying to speak. Now, you know how to listen. You watched your thoughts. You challenged them. You replaced them. You rewired your brain, not with force, but with focus. You saw the field in your mind, and you walked a new path, one step at a time, until the old trail disappeared. You visualized, not to escape, but to prepare. You spoke truth, not because it was easy, but because it was yours. You became the architect of your inner world, and that is where real freedom begins. Because when you change the way you think, you change the way you live. And when you speak like the person you are becoming, you begin to walk like them, act like them, rise like them. This is not a one-time act. This is a lifelong practice. You do not wait for motivation. You return to awareness. You do not beg for change. You build it. You do not wish for confidence. You affirm it until it breathes in your bones. Because now you know the truth. The old version of you was not your destiny. It was a loop. And you broke it. You rewired. And because you rewired, you rose. So keep walking. Keep watching. Keep speaking what you seek. Until your life becomes a mirror of your new mind. Because that is the real power. Not to control others, but to control the story you tell yourself. And that story starts now.